So here we are back at the Urban Sketching from Home Challenge, day 2, and the prompt for day 2 is things from your cupboard. And I chose my bathroom because I hadn't had the opportunity to sketch my toothbrush yet. So I chose this selection of objects because I thought that the shapes were interesting, the colors were interesting. I like the transparency in the glass. And I really like the shape of that tall bottle that I use for mouthwash. It's like an olive oil bottle I use for mouthwash. And now, as I look at that image, that shine from the nail brush on the table, I wish that I had gotten that reflection because it's beautiful. So now I am inking this sketch. I went from sketching to inking very quickly. I didn't cut anything out of the video. You saw my entire pencil sketching process. I'm trying to get better about going right to pen. So many sketchers start right with pen and don't mind little mistake lines. They just become part of the sketch. I'm still getting used to that. So I try to get the big shapes down now with pencil and not get into any details, and that's what I did in this case. And then I just start working one item at a time. So I started with that nail brush, moved on to this toothbrush, which was really fun to draw. Oh, this little stippling for the tips of the bristles was a lot of fun. So I thought while we are watching me ink this sketch, I don't have much to say about it, we would talk a little bit about urban sketching itself. As I mentioned, I think in my last video, Urban Sketching is an organized nonprofit with a clear mission, and they have a manifesto. So I'm going to tell you the manifesto and maybe a little bit more history about the organization. So the first manifesto about urban sketchers, or the first point, and there are 8, is we draw on location, indoors or out, capturing what we see from direct observation, which means that it is about drawing something that you see in the moment versus taking a photograph of it and drawing later. Now, a lot of urban sketchers will take a photo because they start a sketch and then finish it later, and that is perfectly fine too. In fact, anything that you want to do is perfectly fine. This is your art practice, and even though the organization has guidelines, they do not have rules. I really had fun right here in the sketch creating this little nozzle on top of the bottle. This was a fun one. And then kind of the dotted line to show that it's inside and a little blurry. This was a really fun one to ink. And I was happy with how it came together, and it's a cylinder. I'm not so great at them, and I did a pretty good job, actually. Here is where I mess up. I start this line and it goes a little wonky. I'm like, oh, maybe I should start it from the top. So I go up to the top and I come back down, and I can clearly see about here it's not going to meet, and I start bending it in. So I have a wonky glass bottle, but I have not left enough room for the top of the bottle here. So I get right here and I start, and that's my kind of oh shit moment. I'm like, all right, I'll just put a top on it. And I put on this weird nipple top that is not the right size. It is way too small. It's about half the width of what the bottle is, and I just go completely rogue. And that is the danger of me not doing a full-on pencil sketch, is that I go, look at that. That does not look like the other side of the bottle at all. And I laugh at myself in the live sketch because I realize that I'm going wonky, but that's okay. This is a sketch. I sure wish I had just taken that bottle off the top of the page and drew it as I saw it rather than try to kind of fix it in real life with artistic license. And, I basically gave up, but went down to this really weirdly shaped secret deodorant bottle, which was kind of fun to sketch. So the second part of the Urban Sketchers Manifesto is our drawings tell the story of our surroundings, the places we live, and where we travel. And I think that that's true of art in general, but particularly urban sketching, because the art that you're creating is a reflection of what you're seeing. Whether it is a still life like this that's been, gathered for the sake of practicing urban sketching and doing it at home, or an observation out in a coffee shop or a cafe that might be a combination. One of my favorite sketching styles, you'll probably see a lot of them, is a cafe sketch that starts with a still life of your coffee, maybe a food item that you've had, and then continues into a reportive style drawing with sketch of the coffee shop or the view out the window or something that you see there locally in real time. I also think that urban sketching is a misnomer. By urban, they really just mean outside in real life. It can be suburban, it can be rural, it can be foreign, it can be aquatic. I've urban sketched from the balcony of a cruise ship. So as long as you're outside and sketching what you see versus from a photograph, you technically qualify as an urban sketcher. So urban sketching was started by Gabriel Campanario in 2007. So it's been around for quite a while. And it really is just started with an online forum where he invited other people who like to go out and sketch on location, and it grew from there. And their third manifesto is, "Our drawings are a record of time and place." And I have found that to be very true. In fact, for all of the sketches that I've done, I have really vivid memories of those moments. There's something about observing and recording that imprints the memory into your cells, into your brain. All of the artwork that I've created while sketching, and especially while sketching because it happens all at one time. I'm not creating an artwork over days or weeks or months or in some cases even years. I'm doing it over hours in one sitting, maybe two, but I rarely add anything to my sketches when I get home. I rarely do any work in my studio. My sketches really are a snapshot of time. And that's really the emphasis of urban sketching. It is to draw from life and on location. It's not from memory and not photos. So this qualifies. It's from life. It's a bit contrived because I did set up a still life, but it's on location and it's all done at once. And I really am trying to observe what I see and show that. Now that we've gotten into the coloring section, you can see I've used just a very light lemon yellow for the cleansing oil right there. And I'm just using shadow colors, dirt from my palette again, to create the shadows inside the plastic. And I like that green, which was just a bit of leftover greens and blues and grays to make the mouthwash color. Urban Sketching Manifesto point 4 is, we are truthful to the scenes that we witness. Now, I'm a fan of artistic license, and if you want to move a tree or change the color of something, you go right ahead. I think that's asking a little bit much of a bunch of artists, but technically it is in the manifesto. All right here I just painted blue over a place that needed to be a creamy white color, and I will need to fix that later, and that is why I like putting some white on my palette. White, when combined with any other watercolor, will make an opaque, lighter watercolor, and by itself it will cover up a little bit of that blue. It'll reactivate it, it'll pull some blue in, but eventually we'll get a nice, creamy, cool color there. Manifesto point 5, we use any kind of media and cherish our individual styles, and that is absolutely true. You can make art out of anything you want. Any kind of pen, ink, any way that you can make a mark, any way you can add color. If you want to tear up old newspapers, receipts, do collage, you are free to express yourself in any way you'd like. One of the things that I love is seeing the different ways that people draw and sketch and represent an area. Point six, we support each other and draw together, and that is absolutely true. I have never been around a more supportive group of people, actually. We all love and support everyone's sketch. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about any other urban sketcher behind their back. It's just not that kind of group. Artists are really wonderful people. I am mostly using leftovers on my palette to create this image. I've got lots of opera pink for this beautiful little gua sha marble scraper tool thing. And here I am trying to draw in some subtle lines in the marble, and I think it's really pretty. Point number 7 of the Urban Sketcher Manifesto is we share our drawings online. That's not a requirement, but it is encouraged because, art is for us, but it also is for others. And people rarely judge. At least I've found that they rarely judge, and I've published a lot of wonky art. I think that people just like to see the way others view and report the world to them. And that is a lovely thing. And here is me adding some more manganese blue to get that special secret deodorant package color. Butterfingers. This time I remembered to avoid the flower in the center, so that is part of how it is going to be whiter, is I've made the area around it a little bit darker. And I dip into that opera pink again. Such a beautiful color. And add a little bit of that pearl, other color that I can't remember the name of, raspberry something, iridescent violet raspberry, and make this beautiful little kind of fake marble pink plastic nail brush that I love so much. The final point 8 in the Urban Sketchers Manifesto is we show the world one drawing at a time. And I believe that that is the role of artists doing this particular kind of art, which is reportive art, which might also remind you of things like courtroom sketching, because it is a quick drawn and loosely representative sketch of someone or something, followed by coloring and painting to allow you to experience the scene, but without any real emphasis on trying to get a realistic painting. I'm gonna zoom in and speed up a little as we finish up this drawing, because this toothpaste and toothbrush in particular were just so much fun to paint. And I have started to put together some resources that you can find at my website, donnalfox.com/urban-sketching. I don't expect you to remember that at all, so I'll put that link in the comments. There's nothing fancy there right now. I just put together a checklist that I use when I am getting ready for a sketching outing. It's really just a place for me to start dumping my information as I gather and lean into urban sketching, and put all the information, like the history of it and links. And if you're interested in starting a sketching practice, it's a good place for you to go. So I grab some of that manganese blue and drop it in here on the toothbrush and then lift it out. So it just stained the paper and it gave that perfect pale washed out blue that toothbrush bristles have after they've been used for a little while. There we go, with the vanilla flower with that white opaque color mixed with a little yellow to make it look a little off-white. And that fun toothpaste tube. Adding in something that's mostly white, put some gray into it, make it look like it has some contours and the wrinkles in the tube. And it's just a really easy way to add a lot of definition. And there are my shadows, setting the scene. These are at least closer in real life to real life than Last Shadows, and I add another layer of blue on that secret deodorant. And I am done with the sketch for today. This was Urban Sketching from Home prompt number 2, items from the cupboard. Join me tomorrow for number 3, which is sketching our plants, and it's one of my favorite sketches from the series. I'm so excited to share it with you. See you tomorrow.